These battery terminals are junk, and in a vehicle like a Jeep, it'll eventually cause problems that are only going to get worse over time. So, we are going to be removing these and going to a different style of battery terminal with a crimped on battery lug. That will make these terminals last longer and prevent future weird electrical problems. The problem with these is they aren't exactly sealed from the elements, so they get corrosion and then rust, and the entire wire rots out, and then it doesn't work anymore. Quick parts list of what you'll need. A very big cable crimper like I have here. They haven't hit Harbor Freight for cheap yet, but they can be had for about 25 bucks on Amazon. It's possible to do it without, but it's a pain, so just buy this. Some very large ring terminals. I tried using 2 gauge since I had lying around, but turns out 6 gauge is the proper size. Some heat shrink to seal the connector, and the actual battery terminals. These are about 10 bucks on Amazon, and they have a bolt to fasten the ring terminal to, allowing for future expandability. Not pictured as a source of heat, whether it be a heat gun, a crack lighter, or a barbecue lighter. Now, if you want to go the extra mile and aren't lazy like me, you can clean these ends up with a wire brush or some sort of electrical contact cleaner before you crimp them on. I didn't. And to put these on, as videoed here, slide the terminal on. Ideally, you don't have a gap, but that's what you have heat shrink for. Put the terminal in the jaws of the crimper. Make sure it's the proper die size on it, and just crimp it. That's about it. It's not terribly too complicated. Just do a quick pull test to make sure the terminal actually crimped on. Because if you don't, it'll just fall off. This crimp wasn't perfect, but it survived the pull test. So we're gonna throw the heat shrink on and heat it up with a barbecue lighter. Just be careful using open flame when this with this cheap heat shrink because you'll end up burning the heat shrink and it's not really heat shrink anymore. I got the two positive ones on. Now throw the negative ones on. Same idea. I hope that you get the concept. Twist the wire a bit. You don't want any of the pricklies in there. It'll poke through the heat shrink and then it also isn't heat shrink anymore. If you have to trim any excess wire, a pro tip is to use bolt cutters and then use wire snips just to trim the excess, and then donate the leftover copper to the crackhead that lives in your walls. Now the battery's gonna go back in. Put the new terminals on. Use a 1/2 inch wrench to tighten the nut down. It's got a little weird captive nut on the other side, so you don't have to hold it. And then pull the top nut off with the 3/8 socket, and then put the ring terminals on. Make sure you put positive to positive, negative to negative. If you don't, you'll find out the hard way. And then just torque these down to spec with the old Milwaukee. And now you have new terminals, and now that's one less problem your Jeep has. If you liked this video, or you thought everything I did in it was wrong, let me know down in the comments below. I'll take 7 to 14 business days to respond.